All right, guys, we got Rocky with the crane coming on Tuesday to pull stuff out of the engine room. That seems like a lot of time, but there's a lot of little things that need to happen before then. I've also got the lion's share of cabling coming through the engine room right here. My plan for all this is to do cable trays or a cable chase along the ceiling here. But the first thing I have to do is get all of these labeled and get them all pulled back to the back of the engine room to get them out of the way. And like I said, labeling them is going to be really important as well, because I want to know what I'm hooking up when I go back in with everything.
So what are we doing?
We are figuring out what outlets are what, because the labeling on this boat's pretty tragic. So what's going to happen, Janet's going to hang out up here and just basically look at multiple outlets that we have things running on and let me know when things turn off. And then I can label them down there. And then I can make sure we have all the ones that we need powered up for when we're living on board during the project powered up, and the rest I can pull back.
Like the fridge, coffee pot, kettle.
All of those. All of the above.
Okay. Okay, ready for the kettle?
Yeah, ready for the kettle.
Kettle's on. Off, 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 off. Sorry, what did you just say about all the outlets?
That's all the main salon outlets here.
Or on one breaker?
Plus that one, yeah.
Well, no wonder we keep busting the breakers.
Oh, we don't bust these unless we plug a big-ass heater into them, because that's like all of the amperage in one of those heaters. Otherwise, we don't pop them. Same with the kettle. So yeah, I'll have to run some wires to break those up a little bit more, but at least that makes it simple, because that's only one wire that powers all that. So yeah. Okay. Good to know. Guess the next one is the aft deck fridge. Today I am removing the, well, I removed the fans yesterday. Or the day before yesterday. Today I'm moving the variable frequency drive. So these are the guys that adjust the fan speeds and control the fans. I've already removed the one on the other side, just getting this one on this side. After that, I'll probably start removing the rest of the autopilot wiring, which came back to this corner. Remove the rest of the battery wiring that went to the starters. Maybe start taking the hydraulic tank out for the stabilizers, but yeah, I think that's about it. I got to move get rid of the MPPT for the solar, because that'll be built into our new inverter.
There's a guy that mentioned he wants to know if we sell any Victron
all the Victron stuff. Yeah, there'll be lots of Victron stuff for sale. Unfortunately, not our main inverters. They are being repurposed to a cabin. Not our cabin, but a cabin.
What I'm thinking about, guys, is I'm going to put a sale page on our website.
Yep. Yeah, you guys can see everything that we have up for sale, which there will be plenty. Matter of fact, pretty sure these VFDs are going to be up for sale too, because we're thinking about shifting to 3-phase power on board Tangaroa. And if we do so, then these VFDs will no longer work, because these are a single-phase input to a 3-phase output.
Okay, start ripping. Don't let us bug you.
Don't let you stop me, huh?
Don't let me stop you.
Well, I've already got all the wires disconnected and removed. Now I'm just doing the actual modules themselves. And then eventually I'll have to get rid of this big shaft and chain setup. But I got to get all my parts lined up for that. Because that's going to be, we're going to require some engineering, which I've done most of it. Because the screws aren't straight, they're hidden behind the edges, and I don't want to strip the screws, so I can do it with my hands.
Handy dandy.
That's it. So that's 2 VFDs out. Yeah, getting there. You are dead set to kill yourself, aren't you? Tripping over shit all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, MPPT. will also be for sale. And it's a big boy.
She is a big boy.
Yeah. That's it. Bring that upstairs, put it in the for sale pile. One of the things that I've been working on this week is getting the shafts all disconnected from the engine, as well as the electrical, all the charge piping, because when we get a crane hooked to this stuff, it's not going to care if something's still connected. It's going to pull apart or out anything that it gets snagged on. So super important to make sure that I don't miss anything. So I'll be going over this quite a few times before we actually go to that, pull them out. All right, so I've got to get the couplers loose. This should be short of the motor mount upper nuts. This will be the last disconnection that I have to make to get the engines prepped to get out of here. So yeah, just gonna run around these, and these are ridiculous couplers. I think our old couplers had 6 bolts each. These have 12 bolts on these couplers. It is absolutely ridiculous for the power we're putting through them. And they're not small bolts either. And that is a massively oversized, here, I'll show you guys. I don't know how much torque they expect us to put out on this thing, but 12 of those is a little overkill. Maybe they were expecting more. Bigger engines. These are oversized transmissions. They're made for bigger engines. So likely some more torque there. Fortunately, this goes pretty fast. I think that might have been, yep, that's the last one. That is all 12 loose. Now I'll just remove the bolts and then I can get the shafts out of the way. Well, I still have this in place, but probably not going to come back very far. No, see, now those are separated. So now I got to get my shafts seal slid forward, and then I can push the shaft back a little bit. Yay! And I got to do the other side. All 12. Just use the hose clamp as a little backup ring. Now, let's see here. There are 2 screws in here, so you gotta get both of them. Now, I thought my shafts were probably in need of alignment because it's been a little while, and I can confirm I am definitely sunk down on my mounts a little bit more than what we started at, so it was time to do it. Fortunately, the new stuff going in will be considerably lighter, and there will be less compression on the motor mounts after a short period of time. And it's also going to be much easier to align because everything's going to be lighter and smaller. Yeah, so looking forward to that. All right, that's it for this guy. Time to go to that side now. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, because it's like the size of an elephant. Our mufflers. We got a lot of guys that had opinions about these when we put the Cummins in. These are the original mufflers from the Detroit diesels. They're going this time around. They are asbestos lagged. We do know that. That's why they've all been painted with an elastomeric coating to keep all that stuff encapsulated. But they are going to be removed and properly disposed of this time around. So I am strapping up the mufflers so I can take off the main bracket straps here. Once I get that done, I can pull the beam off on the back side there, because that's the only other thing that I have to take out short of the hatches to get the engines out. So once I get that out of the way,
Then Rocky can drop his crane right down in here, throw some straps around this muffler. I'm going to strap up this muffler, get it knocked loose as well. And then it's going to come the fun part of getting this muffler to this side of the boat. And then same with the engine, which is going to require some gantries to be built, just like last time. So one of the first things that I have to do to get everything out of the engine room is I've got to get rid of this beam right here. This is the hatch, basically from here to here, a fair bit down to the other side of the muffler. And that whole hatch comes out into the galley area. It gives us a big hole to get everything out of the top of the boat. But this is right down the middle of it. This is the hanger beam for the muffler. So as you can see, I got the muffler all strapped up here, ready to rock and roll. That way I can remove this beam, get it out of the way, so Rocky can come in and pull the rest of the crap out. There's that. Now I'm going to take these guys loose. There's two of these on each side of this beam. And then this beam will be ready to slide out once we get the upper floor out and get the muffler strapped in such a way where it's not going to fall down. I can come down with that beam, get it out of the way, and then this whole big hatch above me here is all open, goes all the way back to the back side of that light. So lots of space. Last time I pulled this thing off, it required plenty of gentle persuasion. Not so gentle persuasion. All right, that beam's pretty much ready to come down now. All right, so order of importance for me. Number one, remove beam. Yes, my writing is shit. Don't care. Number two, finish disconnecting engines. Finish removing stuff for engines. This isn't going to work. This is stupid. All right, so order of importance for me. Number one, I've got to get that beam out of the way because without that out of the way, there's nothing moving in here. Secondly, I got to finish all my disconnects on the engines. I think the only thing that I really have left is the control boxes, which are pretty straightforward to get loose. I'll tuck those on top of the engines and they'll be good to go. What else we got? I've got to get the rest of the generator unbolted from the floor to get it ready. Yeah, I got to get the mufflers hanging without the straps on them. So when Rocky comes in, he can slip around them. Yeah, slowly making my way toward the end there. But, you know, Rocky and his crane don't care if I'm not ready when he comes to pull these out. So I got to make sure I'm ready. So short of the new stuff going in, this is probably one of the biggest steps, is getting all of this out of here. Now, it doesn't look like we've got a lot done, but every little bit that we've done is critical for making this happen on Tuesday. Because quite frankly, Tuesday can't happen without all of this.
Before we end this video, we want to say a genuine thank you. The names you're seeing here are the people who chose to step in and stand behind this project. This hybrid electric build is happening in real time, and it's only possible because of the support from our online crew and the people on the Wall of Power. Every name here represents someone who believes in us doing this properly and sharing the whole process. No shortcuts and no glossing over the hard parts. If you've been watching and getting value out of these videos, there's a place for you too. Your name could be here in the next video, and you'd be a part of Tangaroa's story going forward. Some supporters even have their names permanently mounted in the engine room on the Wall of Power. And if supporting financially isn't possible right now, subscribing, watching, and leaving a comment helps more than you might think. You can find all the details on our website. Thanks for being here, and thanks for helping make this build possible.